There's a small light in that corner. There's one in all of them. I've made 14 of these, 14 packs, 6 worlds in most of them. And there is a small warm light hidden somewhere in every single world. I put them there. 10 months I've been putting them there, behind waterfalls, under piers, in the gap between the last 2 buildings where a level stops being a level and starts being scenery. Every single one. And I never once asked myself where they came from. I'm Martin, Sam to my friends. There's no studio, there's no team, there's me, a desktop PC, and a very large number of very small squares. What I make is wallpapers you can play. They sit behind your icons being quiet, and when you'd rather they weren't quiet, you press 3 keys and you're inside it. Coast to Coast, Dungeon Dash, Fishing in Hell, 6 Gates of Doom, Last Light, 16 colours each, near enough. Every world with its own piece of music, all of it running behind whatever you were actually supposed to be doing this afternoon. That's the product. That's the whole product. And I'll come back to how it works at the end, because it's the least interesting thing here. This is about the lights. Here's the thing I want to show you first, because it took me 10 months to see it and about 4 seconds to explain. They're never on the path. Not one of them, if a world has a route through it. And they all do. They're all built to be walked. The light is never on that route. It's behind the thing. It's under the thing. It's in the corner of a scene that exists to be background, in a part of the picture I built, knowing full well nobody would look at twice. I put a great deal of care into places I expected to be ignored. And they're always the same colour. Every world has its own 16, and the palettes don't share much. A snow village and a lava cavern having almost nothing in common, but the light is the same warm gold in both. I didn't plan that either. Here's what I noticed late, and it's the reason this series exists. I never decided to do it. Not once in 10 months did I sit down and think, this world needs a light in the corner. I'd build the place, the palette, the music, the thing that moves at the edge, and then near the end, without thinking about it at all, I'd put a small warm light somewhere nobody would walk past. Every single world, without deciding. That's not a design decision. A design decision is a thing you can explain afterwards. That's something else. So what actually is one of these? A pack is 6 worlds, sometimes 7. Not 6 wallpapers, 6 places, each with its own palette, its own weather, its own piece of music, and each one built to work underneath about 40 desktop icons without turning into soup. The last part decides everything. Detail in the middle of the screen is wasted because there's a folder called admin sitting on top of it. So the composition gets pushed down and out. Movement lives low and at the edges. Contrast comes down, not up. A wallpaper that's shouting is a wallpaper you'll turn off by Wednesday. 16 colours as a rule, not because it's authentic, because 16 colours is a machine for making decisions. You can't find a bad composition by adding. You can't fix a bad composition by adding another blue if there isn't another blue. You have to solve it with shape. And none of it is drawn. There's no pixel editor here, no tablet. Every pixel in every world is placed by code, a line at a time. I don't write most of that code either. What I do is look at what came back and decide whether it's wrong. It's usually wrong. Four worlds I finished this year are in a folder instead of on the store because they didn't feel right. And I couldn't tell you why for months. That's the job. Deciding what's wrong and then deciding what wrong means. Right. Here's the whole thing working. That's a Tuesday afternoon. That's just there, being nice, not asking anything of you. And that's the same file 10 seconds later. No launcher, no second window, no separate install for each world. It's the wallpaper. It was always the wallpaper. There's 14 packs, 12 at $2.99. Yours forever. 2 of them free, permanently, because I'd rather you had one on your desktop than not. The 2 free ones are on the Microsoft Store. Put a word behind your icons and see whether you still want it there on Thursday. That's the only test that matters. So that's where I got it. Every world I've built has one. Every single world. A small warm light in a place nobody was meant to look. But there's over 10 months. Yeah, put there over 10 months by someone who never once stopped to ask what it was. I went looking in my own files in the order I made them. I found something. That one's in a fortnight. So I'll see you then. Thank you.